Dan was once a man with bright dreams and high hopes. But life had a way of testing even the strongest souls. His business began to crumble, debts piled up, and soon the money he had saved evaporated. The weight of failure pressed on him like a storm he couldn't escape. One by one, those he counted on to stand by his side turned away. His own family stopped answering his calls, too ashamed or unwilling to face the harsh reality. His fiancée, once the light of his life, left, unable to bear the burden of despair that now engulfed him. Now Dan lived alone in a small, worn-down apartment where the shadows seemed to whisper his failures. Each night, loneliness wrapped tightly around him, colder than the bitter winds outside. His world had shrunk to a narrow circle of silence, regrets, and the aching absence of those he loved. Yet, in this darkness, Dan was not entirely forsaken. Victor, his loyal dog, never left his side. When Dan had almost nothing left, Victor stayed. Rain or shine, hunger or cold, Victor's faithful eyes held a warmth that broke through the coldest nights. He rested his head on Dan's lap, as if telling him silently, "You're not alone. I am here." Then there was Furball, the grumpy cat. With his sharp claws and wary glares, Furball was no friend to strangers. But when Dan's world seemed to fall apart, Furball chose to curl tightly on Dan's chest in the quietest moments. The cat's rough exterior hid a fragile heart that clung to Dan as surely as Victor did. But perhaps the most surprising companion was Angela, Dan's college junior and a rare spark of light amidst his despair. Angela was kind and strong, always showing up with a smile and small acts of kindness, a warm meal, a sympathetic ear, a helping hand. Her family, wealthy and proud, had warned her sharply, if she continued to spend time with Dan, they would cut her off from their inheritance and sever all ties. Angela did not flinch. She believed what others could not or would not see. She believed that Dan was worth fighting for, that no wealth or status could define what mattered most. With unwavering courage, she stood beside him, even when the world turned its back. Days turned into weeks, with Angela studying late into the night by the dim candlelight, determined to graduate and build a future. Dan took odd jobs during the day, hands tired but spirit stirring painfully slow. Victor and Furball kept watch, offering their quiet companionship. Their loyalty was unspoken but deeply felt. One evening, the city lights outside flickered with life as Dan sat by the window, staring blankly into the dark. Angela sat beside him, her hand resting gently on his shoulder. He looked at her, voice barely a whisper. "Why do you stay when everything tells you to leave?" Angela smiled softly. "Because some things, love, loyalty, kindness, can't be measured in money or power. Some things are bigger than fear or loss. I believe in you, Dan. And I'll stay, no matter what." Dan's heart ached with gratitude and something new, a fragile hope. His life wasn't the one he had dreamed of, far from the plans he once made. But in the loyal gaze of Victor, the soothing presence of Furball, and the courageous love of Angela, he found something priceless. Something that money couldn't buy or loss couldn't steal. He found a reason to keep fighting. To breathe. To believe again. Sometimes, life breaks us down to the barest pieces. And in those broken pieces, we find a rare kind of strength, the strength to hold on to those who don't give up on us, even when we've lost everything else. Dan's story was one of sorrow, but also one of quiet, unbreakable love.